Steve Wayne, you are boss man of Benjamin Stevens, and you are one of 4 or 5 firms who I actively promote as the pinnacle of self-employed estate agency, alongside the likes of Keller Williams, EXP, Perry Power, and yourself. I've asked you here today to talk about your learnings of turning your 2-office operation as a normal bog standard estate agent, albeit a successful one, to now having a hub with 17 agents working out of it. And I want to talk about your fears, your frustrations, your hopes and your dreams, so others watching this from both sides of the story can learn and don't make the same mistakes you made. Is that okay? So when did you decide that you wanted to do a self-employed model with your agency?
It's something we thought about for a few years. Obviously, it's something we tried 3-4 years ago, but the tech just wasn't where it needed to be. I think I got to a point maybe January 2017 where I was like, I really want to do something like this, and started looking at options. Then we looked at the franchise model. I was very worried about brand protection. It's sort of at that point I really started thinking about it and started making moves into it.
Who did you go and talk to?
Spoke to the guys at Keller Williams. I met up with Ben Taylor, who I got a lot of time and love for, but it wasn't quite for me. However much I bought into Ben, there was bits and pieces of it which weren't for me.
Okay. What did you like about the Keller Williams model?
I like the energy. You know, I think Ben as a leader is exceptional. I liked the idea that it's been done in America and it's been tested. I love their yearly or quarterly big expos. That just, you know, excited me. I love the idea of, you know, 1,000 people in a room all off the same hymn sheet. Yeah. There's a lot of good with a lot of these brands and different ways of working, but I have my way, and I also don't like to be told. You know, the idea. You don't like to be told. I don't like to be told. You know.
Although you are open to ideas, because I know you've taken a lot on board what I've suggested in the years.
I'm happy to listen to people, but at the end of the day, I don't want to be told that this is the way and this is our way. And, you know, one thing I liked with Ben is he was very much, when I mentioned that something wasn't right or something needs to be different, he was happy to listen to it. But it was too slow, the implementation. If I want to change something, if I want to make our colours green tomorrow, by tomorrow I think we'll be green. Whereas with a bigger company, the turnaround's so slow, and that would have frustrated me. And I've been used to being my own boss for 15 years.
What other self-employed models did you look at? I mean, there's obviously Sean Newman's with the Newman's guys.
I sort of did. Ben was the only one I spoke to. You know, I did a lot of looking around, obviously what Perry's doing, what Sean's doing. You know, I've spoken to Adam Day in the past, but I sort of had my own ideas, my own vision of how it should look and what it should feel like. And that's been sort of what we've aimed to try and make happen. So
what is it that makes your model, before we delve into it, what did you want to, in one sentence, what did you want to do differently to the others?
I wanted to be a place that people who wanted to run their own business came to and partnered up with me. And we call everyone a partner because they're 50-50 of me, they're direct with me. And I wanted them to come and grow. You know, I wanted them to build a life for themselves. And it's not just about money, it's about a balance, a real work-life balance. And the guys have it, you know. With my guys, I'm not sitting there turning around and going, where are you, what are you doing? You know, I'm there to help them and be someone that they're accountable to for their own good.
But I've had Sean and I've had Ben on that and I've had Adam on that sofa, and they all said the same. So let's drill down even further.
Fine. So what I've got over quite a few of them is I've gone and opened a business. I've started in a room half the size of this with 2 desks, 2 phones, and that's all. And I've broken into areas, and that's what sets me apart from a lot of these guys. I'm a pure core estate agent. I know how to hustle. I know what there is to do to make this successful. I could, and I genuinely believe this, I could take anyone and make them into a 100 grand a year agent, doing, not earning. So they'd earn 50 grand in their first year if they follow a process and a plan. So I'm not offering training schemes. I'm just giving people what I've done and what's worked. And we've opened Edgware, Collindale, Bushy, and now Luton. We're at the moment in an area which is 250,000 homes with a 10th top agent in Luton under 11 months. You know, it's a lot harder in an area which is so vast, and maybe say an Edgware area, like Edgware, where there's 25,000 homes. It's a big old area. We've broken into it, and we're there and we're playing in the area. So I think the biggest differentiation, and without sounding arrogant, is me. I know what I'm doing. I know how to do it, and I'm there to help people. I want to see people succeed.
What made you go for the 50-50?
Because I think it works. When you start, you've got to have an infrastructure of people who all learn. So there's, in each office, each hub, there's someone there who's working with everyone. People need to learn. We're still spending a lot of money on, your systems, your Rightmove, your Zoopla, your marketing.
So do they have to make a contribution to any of the costs?
No, nothing.
So basically, if they don't earn, you don't earn, they don't
We're
earn.
partners. So
Yes.
if you work with us, why should you pay me and you've done nothing? I don't want you 3 months down the line, you're 1,500 quid indebted to me.
So what do you exactly get for your 50%?
What do they get?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they'll get access to our database, which has got X amount, thousands of people on there. So you might take a certain area, and there's probably, even in the areas we've never dealt with, there's probably 200-300 clients in that area. The CRM is top line. We use vRouter, which is one of the top two, you could argue. The CRM's there, so everything's there to be supported. You've got the brand behind you, and not in front of you, but behind you. So when you walk in someone's house, they know who you are. They can go onto the website and they can see the reviews. You've obviously got your Rightmove, your Zoopla. We do 3D tours on each property, but there's also a strategy. We obviously do a lot of marketing. We've got the TV show. So as a brand, we're doing stuff constantly, and we're working with the guys to make sure they're there. One of the things with this business, people love to procrastinate. So we've even got, a line up of the first 4 leaflets that people do. So when you first go into area, your second lot, your third lot, your fourth lot. So everything's there for someone to follow, and it's just then it's their job then to just go and follow.
Okay, so so they are legally self-employed.
We do their pay. Each person's different. There are certain people who just don't want to do their taxes and they don't want to get involved in that, and they've got their own other things they're doing on the side. So everyone's different. So we can do whatever anyone needs. If someone wants us to look after their PAYE and their VAT, we can do that, and they can do it as an employed person. If someone wants to go...
Also, it's a 50-50 split.
We can do... Some people are just... I've spoken to someone before and they're like, I love the idea, but I don't want an accountant. I don't want to have to do all of that stuff myself. It's like, fine. We'll pay you whatever your commission's due. We'll put it into our accountant. We'll put it through our system, and we'll pay the PAYE. We'll do the VAT for you. We'll do, everything that needs to do. Do your tax, your pensions, everything. So that's one thing people are scared of. They don't want to start getting involved in setting up a company, having an accountant, and before they know it, there's so much extra work before they even start. There are other people who already got all of that and just are happy to invoice me.
So some of them are still employed. The ones that are on the employed, do you offer some form of minimum wage, or?
There's a guarantee. To some people will need a guarantee, some people won't. Everyone's different. But, generally what happens is if they get a guarantee, then they don't earn money until they've gone over 50% of that. But it all ends up in the same place in the wash.
And did you have to take legal advice with regard to all this?
Yeah, we've checked with a solicitor.
Okay.
So we made sure that it's very, very complicated.
So you spoke with a solicitor before starting?
Yeah.
And what, sorry?
And an accountant.
And an accountant. Would you have done anything differently before? What else did you do to start up? And would you have done anything differently before you started?
I think I'm one of these people that just does. We decided to start doing it and we got people in, and we just started.
When you say you got people in, are we talking about people that wanted to become a self-employed
So
partner?
we spoke to a recruitment agent, we told them what we were doing, and they got me the first 3 people in.
Okay. And did you interview 3 people and all came across?
No, we interviewed more than that, but these 3 sort of got the idea and got the mindset. A lot of people, they hear the word self-employed or partner agent, and it scares the living daylights out of them. And then you ask them what business they could do and what business they did the last 3 years, and they've all done 200 grand, but they've been on 20 grand salaries and 10%, so about 40 grand. And those same people, I go, all you have to do is the same here, and you learn 100, and it petrifies them. It's not for everyone.
Why do you think they fear that?
I think people fear the commission only, where if you don't do, you don't get. But I think you've got to take that gamble for 3 or 4 months. You've got to take that risk and that jump.
Do you think people don't back themselves?
I think people are scared. I think people have commitments. Bizarrely, the strangest thing I've found is we're meeting people who've been in the industry for 20 years and they've got no money. And I just don't understand. If you're that good, you should be earning a certain amount of money. And for them not to have, £6,000 for the first 3 months to protect themselves astonishes me.
Okay, but then that's life nowadays. People have got less savings. Um, you attracted your first 3 people in. How did that go? So that's a year ago. So
That's a year ago.
So that's autumn 2018.
So 1 out of 3 is still with me and become very successful in the model. 1 moved over into the estate agency side. It wasn't for him. And 1 worked for me for a little while, and he wasn't the right person for us as a company.
So what sort of skills and let's do skills and attitudes.
I think attitude's the most important one.
Okay.
Skills can be taught, attitude can't. You know, people who are willing to get up every morning and work for themselves. And there's a big difference. You'd be shocked. You know, a year on, we've had a lot of people through the doors, and people who are just happy to sit there and do nothing. It's almost like the first group of people we had in, it was almost like it was a youth club. They were just happy. They weren't earning a penny. They were happy to come in, sit in the office, chill in the office. You know, they're all getting lunches every day. And, you know, eventually we were like, guys, what are you doing here? And I think attitude's the biggest problem is you've got to have that mindset of really grafting, you know.
So at the moment, a year later, you've got 17. How many do you ballpark? Do you think you've actually not employed because it's not legally employed, have actually been your partners?
They're all partners now.
No, I know they're all partners, but
how many altogether?
Yes,
we've probably turned it over 3 times. So
in a year.
Probably had about 45 people come and go.
So okay, so of the 45 people that have come through your door, of which 17 are still there,
Yeah.
What are the 35 or so that left? What describe their attitude and outlook in life?
I think there's been a 50-50. Some have come from a state agency background and some have not. The biggest issue with people who come from a state agency background, they come from your Hart, your Connells, your big companies, where I just don't think people appreciate how much business walks in those doors. You know, I think one of the guys turned around once and said, at Connells I could turn up in a clown outfit and I'd still get the instruction. You know, they're big, powerful companies who, you know, it's not necessarily about the agent. And that's why these guys don't pay well, because they know that as well.
Do you think many valuers actually realise how little valuations they actually generate themselves?
Yeah, they don't realise. You know, very few of them, you know, people I speak to, I go on 8 valuations a day. I was like, wow, I'd be exhausted after that. But they're all incoming valuations. They're not valuations that are being made. And I think that's the biggest issue with this whole model is people think, you know, we had a couple of guys start and we put pictures of them on, we'd put pictures on everyone's leaflets because you might have dealt with someone, you don't know where he is now, you see his face and I'll give him a call. And they didn't get a call. And I think they were even shocked. I think they thought they were big players. And just because you've gone and done X amount of business for a corporate, it doesn't mean you can go and do it yourself. And that's the difference between the good, the bad and the ugly. You know, those are the difference between these guys who are ready to go and hustle and really work hard. And when people come and sit with me, I make it very clear to them, I'm very honest with people, you're going to sit here after a week think, what the hell am I doing here? After 2 weeks thinking, oh my God, I've made a mistake. And after 4 weeks, suddenly it clicks and things start happening. But it takes time. Have
you changed the way you talk to your partners now compared to when you started?
Not really. You know.
Or you're harder?
I think I'm hard to them. You know, I'm honest with them. You know, if they're not doing the basics, if they're sitting in the office and waiting for the phone to ring, you know, they're not going to do any business. And I think we want them to succeed. It does us no good to have 50 people in my office doing nothing. You know, we want every one of them to be successful. And for us to, you know, if someone's just not doing it, we will put them up on it. Like I would a 50-50 business partner. These guys are the same. And I will, you know, I wouldn't be as aggressive with them as I would be maybe a paid member of staff.
So how do they actually take that feedback?
I think they appreciate it. You know, these guys want to succeed. There's no point them sitting with me and spending 6 months with me and doing nothing and just having another thing on their CV.
One of the things I find really strange is how the people's mindset doesn't change from working from a corporate on a Friday and then being a self-employed agent on a Monday.
Yeah. Self-employed, you need to be, it's a 24/7 business now suddenly.
So what advice would you give to anyone who's, you know, thinking of becoming a self-employed agent watching this video?
Look, it's not for everyone, you know, and that's one of the reasons we've kept the core business, you know, and not tried to start playing around with it. You know, it's not for everyone. Some people have got big mortgages, you know, wives that stress them out, kids, bills, and they just cannot take that risk. But if you've got that little bit of leeway and you've got that confidence, and you've got to be in a right mindset. You know, we've had a few people who would have been brilliant with us. They've just come to us at the wrong time in their lives.
What, too late in their lives?
Too late, too early. Someone going through a divorce, someone going through money problems. You know, you've got to be in a clear headspace. You know, when I opened a business, I had no distraction. I had no, you know, I was 20 years old. I was having fun. You know, there was no wife stressing me out, no issues, no dramas. So you've got to be in the right place mentally to do this. You've got to put in 100%, and anything less than that, you'll fail.
Do you think we as an industry have become lazy, almost like order takers, just waiting for the business to roll in?
Yeah. You know, the problem, you know, I love what we do, but I've watched it from, you know, the last 20 years has probably been when it's evolved so much. You know, I used to have to fight for viewings. You know, the reality is, I sell a lot of probate properties myself, all around the country for certain clients, and phone calls just come in. You know, if you've got a property at the right price, you know, I sell stuff all around the country, and the reason I do well with it is because I deal with it so cleanly. But it's not hard to get, you know, you can get a property on, and that's what we are. When do you want to view? Okay, we're doing viewings. People now do open houses. They can't afford to go out to the office twice. I spoke to an agent. I wanted to look at something for myself to buy, and I go, yeah, we do open houses. I go, but I can't go this weekend. We only do viewings on a Saturday or Sunday. That to me is craziness. That's not putting a customer first. That's not doing any kind of service. You know, and then unfortunately, because of Rightmove and Apparel, Rightmove and Zoopla, you know, the calls just keep on coming in and coming in and coming in. You know, and our industry has got easier, and because of that, we've become lazier.
So that's the advice you'd give to people thinking of going down the self-employed route. What advice would you give to the bosses thinking of, you know, offering this self-employed route, especially as the way a lot of them think it'll be a way to save their wage bill?
Look, that's the wrong way of looking at it. Like, we've done this to grow, not to cut back. We've opened a whole office in a whole new location after a whole new market. And one thing, what you can't do is you can't have me on a salary and you earning 50%. The phone rings, you grab it, and you've gone and done a deal because of my hard work. It doesn't work. You've got to separate it, you know, and you've got to make sure your other staff don't get resentful of a guy earning 50% for doing exactly what they're doing. So you've got to be really careful. You know, it's not one of these things you can add one or two people. You've really got to go for it. You either got to do it or you don't do it. You can't have that mix and match of people on different commission structures. Otherwise, the attitude in the office just goes. We had it before a couple of years ago, and it was toxic.
So that's one piece of advice for the bosses. What else can you give me?
Look, I think you've got to do it for the right reasons. You've got to do it positively. You know, you've got to pick an area where you're starting to make inroads in. That's the best way I'd do. So for us, we're in Edgware. We do a lot of business in Mill Hill and Colindale, Kingsbury. You get people to concentrate on those areas, you know, and focus on those areas and be very transparent with how they're getting their leads.
So what exactly are you doing to help your partner agents get more business? I know you said you're big on systems and marketing, but what else are you doing for them?
We'll sit with them and we'll work a strategy about where they canvass, where they do door knock, because we make sure we get the list prepared for them, so we've got our own intel. So they're not just looking on Rightmove for which one's got the blue door on and the cat on the left-hand side. So we give them a list of, say, 50, 60 properties a week, so they know where to go and canvass and door knock. You know, we work together as a group, but if you put a post up on Facebook, the rest of us are liking it and sharing it to help you. And we work. The interesting thing with that, which I found with the hub office, is everyone's in their own direction doing their own thing. They are tight as anything. They are such a close group of people.
Is it like a tribe mentality?
It's a real siege mentality. You know, they very much are. We are together. We've had, you know, when you open in a new area, it's going back years, but I remember, you know, we used to have a taxi thing across the road, and on a board day, you'd call the taxi driver, get out of his car and go back in. But it's almost like we're getting that from agents. We're getting so many fake leads for valuations, and the more other agents do that to us, the more together we are. And everyone wants to see everyone succeed. You know, unlike some of the other models where you're opening Joe Estates and you're opening Bob Estates, we're all one. We're all Benjamin Stevens, and I've done that for a reason. You know.
So does everyone have their own little patch, or
everyone has a patch, but they're not. They look after it. But say, for example, you're looking after LU2, but your friend's got a property in LU5. That's for yours to take on and sell. You know, what I don't want is people, you know, start passing things on to someone who they don't trust. You know, if you've gone and built a relationship with a client, he might have properties all over the country. Go sell, go do. You know, we've looked at it from a different angle. We've looked at it as an agent, how would this best work for me? And we've tried to put the agent first. We make money as a company by having 50 people successful. Our margins aren't massive. Everything we get, we try and put back into the business to grow it. We've got really good admin people in now as well, which, you know, is massively important.
So you do a lot of the admin for these guys then?
For them, yeah. So we've now got a lettings admin girl and a sales admin.
Now, I know these guys have obviously got their own responsibility to generate their own business, but what are you doing to help them in the background drive that one forward?
Doing a lot of social media advertising, doing a lot of video marketing. We've got, you know, we're lucky where we are. We're 3 floors above the shopping mall, but we own part of the building. So we go out and we use the land we've got to go almost like as a pop-up office every day. Obviously the leaflets, the marketing, they're on Rightmove, Zoopla. We've got all the alerts and all the extra bits that people need. So we do as much as we can, but at the end of the day, if the agents, as the longer the agent's with us, the more we do for them, and it's a joint, they'll turn around and go, can we do this? All right, well, if you want to go 50-50 on it, we'll do it. Any ideas open, we're very much, and we've always been as a company, we listen to ideas, and if someone's got an idea, we'll do it if it works. And if someone's doing business, we'll put more money in to help them do more business.
It's in your interest, isn't it?
It's in all of our interests. Look, we win together, and that's a big part of this, is we're in it together.
Thank you very much.